Hey, yo, Outliers. John Livesay is a keynote speaker the world calls the pitch whisperer, the author of The Sale is in the Tail, and the man the best in the business hired to teach them how to tell a story that lands. He came in wanting to double his keynotes and go global, but doubling was always the small game. The real one was becoming the name that people don't compare, the speaker they line up for and they wait for. So, what does it take to stop chasing the next booking and become the one they can't imagine the stage without? Let's get into the room and find out. Hello there, Outliers. Niiamah Ashong here. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We have an incredible co-creation conversation at Bat here, and we get to spend our time today with John Livesay. John, thank you so much for making the time for this, and more importantly, thank you for living an outlier life so that we could actually be connected and have the conversation we're about to have. Thank you for being you.
Oh, well, I was intrigued by the name of your show and the concept that I think a lot of people can identify that we don't always feel like we fit in. And so being an outlier maybe will inspire somebody else to be more authentic.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and I think one of the major parts of the premise behind this is like, okay, if you're already an outlier, if you're already like not one who's gone beyond what the norm is, then like
Mm.
why stop where we are? What's like because like in theory we're already considered to be out there
Right.
enough.
Yeah.
So what does it look like to take that to even higher and higher levels?
Mm.
So like from that place there, I think that's where we'll see what comes up and
Hmm.
we'll see how we play with that. Well, talking about playing, I'd like to make sure the outliers get a chance to get to know you, right? So would you mind letting us know more about you and the outlier game you're playing out in the world?
Sure. My whole passion is to help as many people as possible get off what I call the self-esteem roller coaster. We only feel good about yourself if everything's going great and bad the minute you get rejected or don't have a win and you're letting your self-identity go up and down all the time, sometimes multiple times in a day. I was on that roller coaster and it's exhausting. And the way I show up in the world at my highest passion level is when I get hired as a keynote speaker, typically for sales kickoff meetings. And I feel fully alive, and I'm helping those salespeople because I've been in their shoes. We only feel good if you're winning and bad if you're not, and worried about being laid off, and all that is frustrating. But more importantly, nobody goes into sales thinking, oh, I want to be the pushy salesperson. And what I love is teaching people how to be storytellers. That really lights me up. I'm a big movie buff fan, and I worked in advertising, doing commercials for movies. So learned the details of what makes a good story and helping other people figure out what their story is and how to tell a story instead of facts about a product is so thrilling for me because then they become magnetic instead of pushy. And most importantly, storytelling makes us memorable. I've done a deep dive into how our brains are wired and how we remember. For example, if I ask you to tell me the favorite lyrics to your song, you could probably do it, yes? But if I ask you to tell me the opening page of your favorite book,
No.
not so much.
Yeah. Not so
So
much.
we retain information differently, and stories get filed where the lyrics and music part of our lives live. So
Hmm.
that's what makes me get excited to show up every day and help people with their storytelling skills.
That's like it's really fascinating. A couple of different things were coming to me right here. I'm right now the element of stories getting filed with the music and lyrics. Uh, I have two young kids right now, a 5 year old
Mm.
and a 2 year old and a 3 year old right now, and it's really interesting because it's like music and stories are the things that we listen to in the car.
Mhm.
And like I'm surprised when they're able to come to me like verbatim and they know like what the dialogue is and what's
Oh
happening
yeah.
next and all that. So like when you say that it gets stored in that place, I've always thought
Mhm.
about the power of story, but I didn't know that like
Yes,
this extra part of like, I mean, I can tell you every single lyric to my favorite songs from when I was
of
14,
course.
you know?
Yes.
And so you're talking about being like that memorable out
Yes.
there. Yeah. Yeah. That's staying power.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if someone says, "What did they say about that piece of equipment?" I went, "Oh, that makes something surgeries go 30% faster, I think." You're into the analytic part of it.
It's so funny when you say it though, like John, because I'm listening to this here and I'm like, I have my version of the machine. I have my version of speaking to the feature or trying to be
Yep.
impressive in some sort of way. And when you say it out loud in that way, I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of what's happening, isn't it? That
Yeah, I'm
is
pushing
like,
out facts and numbers and data and wondering why no one's excited
yeah,
or interested or taking action. And when I first became aware that people buy emotionally and then back it up with logic, it was such a light bulb moment for me. And people who love data are actually sometimes offended by that. What do you
mm,
mean? I go, no matter how big the purchase is, your house, a car, whatever, it's an emotional decision backed up with logic. Not so if you're leading with logic, you're not getting through. But if you're
yeah,
telling a story that makes them feel something, and then the logic is there to back up that decision, oh, so that's once you understand that and get can put yourself in the shoes of who is potentially buying and what their fears are, fear of change, fear of making the wrong mistake, and you are able to tell a story that other people see themselves in.
mm,
And there's all kinds of techniques around how to do that. But that's people, a lot of people, sometimes people come to me, they go, I'm a pretty good storyteller. I'm like, okay, great. I'd like to make you a great storyteller, just like
yeah,
I'd like to make this a life-changing situation for people who are listening and the people who are you're interviewing. So for me, it's okay, if you're already a good storyteller, we can get you to great. And that part of that is not just people going, that was a good story, but how do I get people to see themselves in the story? Because when that
absolutely.
happens, they want to go on the journey with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh we're about to switch gears, but there's something that comes to me. One of them just being about like the distinctions in like from good to great. I have a lot of positive words. Like I'm like good to
Hmm.
great, great to excellent, excellent to like superb, superb to like
Hmm.
and just keep going on. But there's something in there where it's like someone pointed out to me, I'm watching the World Cup right now, and I'm like, we're gonna remember who wins. And all these other teams who are like the best 64 in the world, like we're not gonna even remember the third
No.
place, second place. Like there is a big distinction. There's something to be said about getting to the table and being good,
Yeah.
but there's something really that comes out from being excellent or really allowing yourself to take it to that level.
Well, we remember Neil Armstrong is the first man on the moon.
Hmm.
Maybe you might know who John Glenn is. Maybe you might remember, but you don't remember the second
Yep.
trip.
Yep.
And for me, my whole thing is how do I get you from invisible to irresistible?
Mm.
That's my whole
All right.
training mindset
Yep.
and outcome
Yep.
of, well, I'll think of it like a ladder with different rungs on it.
Yeah.
And in the middle is interesting. And I think of it in terms of dating, where someone's like, I'm interested, but you're in the friend zone, right? That never gets anywhere. And I said, a lot of people are stuck at the friend zone at work. And everyone, if you've ever been in sales and you have people tell you, I'm interested, send me information, whatever, and then it never goes anywhere, you're stuck at the friend zone at work. And that is something that everyone can relate to. So this concept of storytelling allowing you to get to intriguing and then eventually irresistible. Oftentimes I'm coaching people or teams who are pitching for something and it's a group committee decision. It's like, oh, we just hope we get the majority. I'm like, no, no, let's go for unanimous,
Yeah.
where it's an
Yes.
irresistible story that they want.
Yeah, I see. What I love here is that I love the bar in which we're setting, right?
Mm,
Like as you see, you might see me like look down and everything here, John. Like what I'm doing is I'm taking notes and I'm
mm,
both listening to what you're saying, but also trying to get a sense as to like who you are beyond the
mm.
website, beyond what everyone else sees here,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
what I'm getting from you is like is that like for the games you choose to play, you choose to play it at the highest level,
Hmm.
right? There's also a thing here where I love irresistible. There's a word that, like recently I've been looking at like how do we just make this inevitable? Like
Yeah.
to the point where like and when I think about like irresistible, it's not inevitable. They're totally different areas. But what I
Hmm.
like about that is that it's like it's we're going for it all,
Yeah.
and rather than settling for what we think we can get, it's like why don't we craft ourselves and make like put ourselves in the best position to go for the max
Hmm.
available for us
Right.
and then go for that. and do what it takes, learn how to tell the stories, learn how to
Hmm.
become more irresistible, do those things rather than like just kind of settle in for where we are and being like, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and
Well, I got them interested, and if I get enough people interested, maybe I'll make a sale eventually.
yeah,
That's not nearly as exciting as, oh, I know how to make what I'm offering irresistible because I customize it and I tell a story that they see themselves in. I don't have to push them to make them. They want to come to me. I'm
yeah.
magnetic.
It's so funny because you said magnetic earlier. We're about to switch gears, but I want to get into. You said magnetic earlier, and you said like
Hmm.
rather than pushy, and I was like, yeah, it was the first time it actually really dawned on me that like we don't really have a word for pulley. Like I
Right.
think that's magnetic.
It
Like
is. Yeah.
yeah, it's like so every time I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, like we want to be pulling them towards us. That's the magnetic feel rather
Yeah.
than pushing them toward like a specific outcome or anything like that.
And also, instead of being forgettable, because people forget 80% of what you say 20 minutes after you walk out the room.
Yeah.
But if you tell a story, as we talked about, it gets filed in a different part of your brain. So it sticks.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this here. This is really wonderful. I want to make sure like outliers, right? Like if any outlier wants to go deeper down the journey with you, if they want to like find out more or go like they're like, yes, like for what I
Hmm.
am doing, I'm living a mission that's strong enough, whether like because like there's all leaders are listening to this right here. And like to me, I'm like leadership is sales, sales is leadership. We're always
Yes.
enrolling people,
Hmm.
and for the missions that we stand for, being irresistible and making sure that like that can get out into the world, whether we're getting for funding, whether
Hmm.
they're going for clients, whatever it is absolutely necessary. So for anyone that is looking to go deeper down the journey with you, John, how best do they do that?
The easiest way is just go to my website, which is my name, johnlivesay.com. And if I also have a book called The Sale is in the Tail, Tale, which is a business fable. And if you can't remember my name or my book, just Google The Pitch Whisperer, and all my content shows up.
Perfect. All right. We have our charge here. John, what I like to do right now is I like to shift gears, right, and put on a different hat. So now
Mhm.
outliers have gotten a chance to see the game that you play out in the world, and we see that
Yep.
it's a very large game and that you play at a high level. All right. What we're going to do now is we're going to put outliers to the side, and this is really important. Like, I always say, like, if we're gonna the conversation we have from here, like this is for you. And if we choose to release it to our outliers, awesome,
Mhm.
but like I want you to make sure you're getting value. And I think sometimes trying to be valuable gets in the way
Mhm.
of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially with the game that you're playing and the rarefied air that you play, like it's actually more inspiring for us to see, like, all right, what is someone like you actually, how are you approaching things, right? So one, during this year, we're going to move to. I'm going to coach you through a vision that you bring into life here, and we're gonna play with that, and then we'll decide if we want to release the conversation afterwards.
Okay.
I came into this conversation and I said life changing, and I was like, I feel really good about that. You like usually I'm the one that's setting up the stakes, right? But
Mm.
now you put in things like being in the friend zone. I'm like, I don't want to be in the friend zone with John at the end of this conversation here.
Yeah.
I want this to be something that is actually an irresistible conversation, something that you remember, something that is unforgettable. And so with that, like I want to make sure like I'm dialing up the ante for myself here,
Mhm. Okay.
so we have a conversation that a conversation worth remembering. Are you good with that?
Yes.
All right, cool. So let's do that here. Let's go for like you set your sights up high, right? And so if we were going to be able to create something that might feel outrageous to get done, outrageous, edgy,
Mhm.
and fun. Those are the three words that I look for in every conversation.
Outrageous. What was it?
Outrageous, edgy, and fun.
Edgy. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, yeah. If we were gonna work on something today that would feel really outrageous to go for, like what would you bring? What would you want to bring into this conversation?
It would probably be doubling the number of keynotes that I'm giving currently,
All right, great. How many are you giving right now?
between 10 and 12 a year.
10 and 12 a year. So we're going from like, let's say roughly a keynote a month to a keynote every other week.
Hmm.
Okay. Let me just check in here. What about that feels irresistible to you? And I almost imagine like I'm thinking about this from like the story that you tell, right? Like Yeah, like, sorry, this is what's playing out for me. I'm like, if you went out to someone and you're like, hey, they're like, we're thinking about booking you, right? How much do
Yeah.
you charge or whatever it is? You're like, well, I book, I do
Mhm.
24 of these a year. Is that irresistible enough for you? Or like, what would be really irresistible? What's the story you want to tell? The
No,
irresistible story you
that's
want to tell with that?
irresistible enough for me because
Yeah.
it's the perfect amount of travel. That's the perfect amount of prep and outcome that I
Yes.
know I could do without feeling burnt out or stressed about it and
Mhm.
still delivering the quality that I want.
All right, perfect. All right, perfect. So like you've been at this here. Just so we can get to like what's given the fact that you're already moving in this year, what's the biggest gap between that coming to life right now? Like what's stopping you right now from having double the people? Is it
It's, I think, keeping myself top of mind with speaking bureaus
hmm
because when they get an inquiry, oh, we're looking for a sales keynote speaker. Who do you have that's focused on storytelling? A lot of them know that's what I do, and sometimes they recommend me depending on the budget and whatever, and sometimes they don't. And so, how do I think that's one obstacle is
Yep.
how do I stay top of mind and become a favorite of theirs that they want to recommend? And I've
Yep.
got some that know that I deliver, and
Yep.
then I think the second part of it is how do I increase the referrals from so if someone's sitting in an audience
Yep.
and hears me speak and they're like, oh, my spouse works at XYZ company. John was so great. I need to tell my spouse that my spouse's company needs to bring him in.
Yep.
That referral is the biggest thing I think I would like to improve on.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure um, how to do that beyond just doing a great job.
Mm. If you're a leader with a track record of success and there's a vision you're ready to bring to life that feels outrageous right now, I have an invitation for you. Outliers Edge is a world for different minded, like hearted leaders who are owning what makes them different to make a world of difference. And at the center of that world is a weekly coaching room where we bring the visions that just won't leave us alone. We get coached, stay accountable, and build alongside others, creating something different. If you're pursuing something that's too big, too early, or too improbable for most rooms, this is your room. Go to outliersedge.com/world and come in as my guest. Okay. So when I hear this, there's two elements of it. The great job part is important to me. Um, there's a mechanical strategic element to this where I'm like, do we have QR codes on stage? And like, are
Yeah,
you getting to be like, I don't
right.
think that's where we should start. Right. Me and you may have like
No,
other
because a lot
conversations.
of companies have a restriction on that. Like, look, we're
Yeah.
paying you. We don't want you promoting yourself to our
Yeah.
audience
Yeah.
beyond it's, you can do that if you're not getting paid. You go speak and you're trying to just drum up business from the audience. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
This is more of a, and I know that I've told stories that they can remember and repeat, but and sometimes it happens. I'll give you an example. I just spoke at Jack Link's, the meat stick company that
Nice.
does the, uh,
Nice.
and there's 150 people, and they hired somebody to sing the national anthem before I got up on stage.
Yes.
And he said, "Oh, I work when I'm not singing, I'm working at this, big insurance company, and I think you'd be great
Yeah.
for that." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, look at that! That just naturally happened." So, and I've had someone go, "Oh, who's my spouse works at another company. I'm going to tell them to reach out to you." So it starts to happen. But there's something I wish I could figure out besides the mechanics of it, um, that would happen more frequently.
Okay. All right. So let's play with this here. John, if you're good with this, right? What I understand, I'm going to try and use part of what I understand about you to help us
Hmm.
go and leverage the pathway through.
Yeah.
Put another way here. I don't have a framework that I need to fit you inside of or anything like that.
Okay.
You have frameworks, you have ways that you look at
Yes.
life here. And I'm like, how can we leverage you talked about the ladder earlier. Like, how can we
Hmm.
how can we go up higher on the ladder of your own framework
Yeah.
because you're going to know what to do with that afterwards. Does that sound good
Yeah.
to you if we
Okay.
play in that world?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can start on either place, whether it's the essentially what I think I'm hearing from you is you would like more people to be speaking your name out into the world when like opportunities come up, both
Yes.
proactively. So if there's a referral, someone being like, my company may not have been thinking about this, but we
Yeah.
absolutely need to make sure we bring you on one.
Hmm.
And then the other one is like, hey, with the people that you are paying to do this and like the speaking bureaus that you're a part of and so on and so forth, making sure that you come right to the top of their list.
Yeah,
Does that feel
that's right.
okay? Cool. So we like my general sense is like if we play with one, we'll actually also be able to answer some of the other.
Mm. Okay,
We might do just one. We might go back and forth, and we'll see where it goes. All right.
great.
All right. Cool. John, tell me like where in your world right now is this like not a problem? Where in your world like either it's happening consistently or there was a time where you're just like I was actually just getting too many requests. Like I was traveling too much. Like tell me about that. Like tell me around that.
Well, I don't know about too many requests, but I spoke at Berkshire Hathaway, for example, the home sales real estate agent group, and they loved it. And they said, "Oh, we need you to speak to a different group in another city,
Okay.
and we need to have you come back next year and speak on another topic." And that momentum was just happening. And
Yep.
I thought to myself, what am I doing differently here that is causing this that I don't usually do? And I couldn't identify. It was just they happened to really click with me and I clicked with them and the momentum just started. And I've
Okay.
had that with some other clients as well. But again, it's not a conscious thing that I can point to saying that's what's happening.
Okay. Okay. So like beyond like I don't want to get into this part of it right now because it's not I don't think it's the right place. But
Hmm.
there's some elements here. Like I have a data background. I used to be a
Mm.
former like retirement actuarial consultant. So like
Okay.
so I like to look through the numbers and see
Yep.
where the patterns are and so on and so forth. So we're gonna have this conversation based on how John shows up and like and things
Yeah.
around that. But it might
Okay.
be interesting to see like are there patterns in the
Mm.
types of companies, the types of problems that they're going through,
Yes.
you know,
Definitely.
potentially the types of leadership that they have or the types of goals that they have, right? Something
Yes.
about like the people who proactively come in, like what are they asking for or what are they going through
Yeah.
at that moment that makes you top of mind?
Well, I do have one point of data for you since you love data.
Yes.
So after the Jack Link's keynote, there's
Yes.
150 people. They had me do three smaller groups of 50
Yep.
workshops
Yep.
afterwards.
Yep.
So I got to talk to the audience three times.
Yes.
And the opening to each workshop was, what was your biggest takeaway? And I wrote it down.
Mm.
And so I had all this take three active, this is what people are remembering. And that helps me go, oh, no one's mentioning that particular part of the keynote. Maybe I should replace it with something stronger. But I definitely want to keep these three parts of the keynote because everyone, and sometimes multiple people within that workshop, are
Yep.
saying this was my biggest takeaway multiple
Yep.
times. So
Yep.
I have data on what is working
For the actual
for
like
the actual what the people, what the audience is
yeah.
remembering and they're going to
Yeah.
use and retain.
Yep.
And so that part works. And I would say the biggest problem I solve and that when people come to me with an awareness of our salespeople are pushing out facts and figures and not telling stories, and they don't know how to tell a story about themselves, about the company, or let alone what the product does. So, and I typically focus on tech and healthcare companies. That's my sweet spot. Now, every
Okay.
once in a while, a food company like a Jack Link's will come in
Yep.
and they're having the similar challenges.
Yep.
And they love to hear about how I help tech and healthcare companies solve
Yep.
that problem because they can relate to it. But I also customize the talk for whatever their specific challenge is with that. Does that answer the
Yes.
questions?
It's helpful. Like right now, right? We're gonna just keep unpacking, right?
Okay.
Um, and we'll see where it goes. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool. Um, this is like John. I gotta kind of come out and say it. So I realize that as we're talking, what I don't want for you is to be the the salesperson in the organization that's like, things are pretty good. Like I'm interested. Like sometimes I get referrals, sometimes I don't. But
Yeah.
like if I go to enough places and I show up with doing a good enough job,
Mhm.
like it will kind of happen. Like I feel like you would say to that person, that's cool. but like what would
Yeah.
make you like absolutely irresistible? And I don't think
Right.
we're answering that question right now. I think
Yes.
I
Okay.
think I think I think we're I think that the thing that's happening right now is I think we're answering the question too low, right?
Mm,
And so it's probably not bringing out like the creative energy that I think you would actually really bring to it.
mm.
So
Okay.
so here's a frame I would love to like put into this. Like, what if you're only doing 24
Okay.
things a year, right?
Mhm.
What if instead of like just hitting 24, you're at 22, you're like, how did I get my last two, right?
Yes.
What if we doubled that in terms of the number of like proposals that were coming your way, requests you had your way?
Mm,
So you had 50 requests, every
got it.
week someone was coming in and you just chose. Right. I like to like, I feel like
Mm,
if we're solving for that, like then
got
we've hit
it.
irresistible every week. There's someone else that says, John, we need you to
Yeah. Well,
come.
then I would raise my fee too because I would only, yeah.
Yeah, you know how the game goes. You know exactly how the game goes, right?
Yes.
I can feel just so you know, like energy in my body. I'm getting goosebumps on this, so I'm like that feels like a like I'm feeling more drawn to answer to like
Hmm.
to playing in that space with you. How
Yeah.
do
And
you
where the
feel about that?
creative, where the real, I think where you're asking me to go is like dream a little big and where the feeling is. So it would be that out of those 24,
Yeah.
25% of them would be international.
Ah, here we
And
go.
I've done that a few times and I just absolutely love it. I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting in business class with the bed. I'm
Hmm.
getting to go to Paris or London and I give a talk and then I get to stay and explore the city because I'm already there. That is my ideal experience. So
Okay.
um that also makes me feel fully alive and like, oh man, this is living the dream.
Yes.
Um, and nothing wrong with going to an American city, but
No.
getting
Yeah.
to do that really elevates it to a whole nother level of, oh, this is because they also pay you more when you go international.
Yeah. And
So
but there's also things around like the poignancy of your stories, like that in and of itself becomes
yes.
even more irresistible, so on and so forth. It's
Hmm.
it's a nice cycle here. I think I might have cut you off. Were you going to say something else?
Oh, also, what I've experimented with some of that is there are cultural differences. And
Yes.
what one audience finds funny, another one won't. And so having to
Yes.
adjust for that is very
Yes.
challenging and stimulating for me to go, okay, the British people, for example, they're not known for standing ovations in a
Right.
Broadway show like they are out in New York. So
Yes.
don't, or they're not going to laugh as much. That humor doesn't like
Mhm.
things like
Mhm.
that. But what is exciting is storytelling is global
Yes.
and emotions are global, and that's why
Yes.
movies translate around the
Oh,
world as
absolutely.
well.
Yes.
So I think that's the vibe you were going for. It's like, what does it feel like when you have more requests coming? How do we solve for that? Um, and I've had the potential of getting all kinds of publicity, being interviewed on TV in the past when I had a book coming out. So all I know what that vibe feels like. I also know
Mhm.
the thrill of the company buying, copies of my book for
Yeah.
everyone in the audience and signing that. So that energy is why I'm like, oh, I have had that wonderful experience of being in the zone, I call it, for lack of a
Yeah.
better
Cool.
word, of going, more of this, please.
Yeah. No,
It's not like
I
I'm trying to
love.
create something that I've never experienced.
Yeah.
So that's probably a unique problem for you to be solving is like, I know it's possible. I just need to figure out how to create more of it
Yeah. Yeah.
energetically or mindset wise or whatever it all is.
That's it. That's it. I think that it's funny. I have this thing about like outliers where it's like I feel like oftentimes we're like sitting on an island and all of a sudden like nothing else is around us. We think we're all alone and we see like
Hmm.
some evidence of like a gold leaf or something. And you're
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. I know this island inside and out, and there's
Hmm.
no gold leaf here. There must be something else out there. And it's not
Yes.
that you just made it up, it's because you had the experience or your whole like you know
Hmm.
what is there. Now you're like, how do we like where do I need to go and make
Yeah.
like get like to the land of the gold leaves, you know?
I think, the irony is a lot of people come up to me and they go, how do I get your life?
Yeah, exactly. I get you. I
And
get you.
I'm already living a lot of people's dreams and I'm grateful
Yeah.
for that. And I've worked hard to get here.
Yep.
And the analogy I have for you is actors.
Yep.
There's, back in the day when there were soap operas, a
Yeah.
soap opera actor rarely got offered to do a movie,
Yep.
right? And the TV actors at one point could never do movies either.
Yeah.
But now that line has blurred. But there are definitely levels of, oh, I want to be the Hugh Jackman of speakers, in terms
Okay.
of demand and right now I'm a character actor that you recognize, but you don't know my name.
Okay. All right. So
Is
let's play with that. No. I think that's really important. And the other like with you, I'm thinking in the world of entertainment. So when you talked about like doing international work and seeing that the nuances there, I'm like, this to me takes me to the world of comedy, where like comedians will go through and they'll like they
mm,
test their things out in different
yep.
markets to then when we see it on the Netflix special, it's like they already know that
Every
this
minute
works.
has been, yeah.
Yes, and they know that it works in different markets and that it
Yep.
carries all the way through, right? So that
And
so that
Brene Brown is kind of the pinnacle of all that. She's
okay.
one of the few speakers that's gotten a Netflix special.
Okay. All right. And then also on the acting side, when you bring up that, it makes me think of the person I think about a lot is Matthew McConaughey, right? I don't
Oh
really
yeah.
follow his career so
And we
much,
both
but
live in Austin. Yeah.
oh, look at that. But we had that like, up until what, 2009 or so, like he was like Wedding Crashers and like the
Oh yeah,
rom-com guy,
he had to
you know?
stop just doing rom-coms and take a chance on filling his dream of being a serious actor. And
And it took and he spent a lot of time, it spent years like
yeah,
saying no and everything else to it, right? So
right.
I'm keeping some of that in the back pocket here. Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm still gonna play with this idea of like, how do we get you a new referral, a new someone coming to you every single week, right? Like that feels like a very simple thing that to solve for. Like it doesn't mean it's an easy thing to solve for, but it feels it feels
Interesting.
like a simple
I
thing.
think that
Yeah.
distinction is so important for people because sometimes I'll say something like, well, that seems obvious or easy. And I'm like, but it's not easy to execute. Is
Yeah,
what
exactly. So yeah, so
everybody be
like
doing it. Yeah.
so John, you like are you down to play like we can go back to some of the initial things you were saying, but I'm like, all right, let's look to get you more demand than you can handle, right? So
Hmm.
that you can just choose and be like, these are the
Right.
24 I'm gonna do,
Yeah.
these
And
are
I
the
have to
stores
say,
I'm
I've
gonna
never
come.
even let myself think about that. So that
Yes,
alone is already life-changing for
yeah,
me to be going, wait, what if I was saying no? Because everything I pretty much say yes to because I love doing it so much.
yeah,
And I'm afraid if I say no, I won't get the.
yeah,
But to be in that much demand is fascinating. There's actors, Brene
yeah,
Brown doesn't say yes to everything,
yeah,
stuff like that. There's
yeah,
plenty of speakers that say I've got more demand than I have time to do this, so you have to pay me
yeah.
this and all that. So that's already hugely life-changing for me to just even imagine the demand exceeding my willingness or ability to meet it.
We could end the conversation here and you could take because realistically that's the point of this is to like especially because a game that you play most people are going to come to you and say I would like how do I have the life that you have, right?
Yeah.
And I see that like you've done a great job and there's still heights to go,
Yes.
there's still more mountains to go, right?
Right.
So let's keep playing this game, John, like, and what I'm going to ask of you is like I'll like I'll play in, but like if you see a place, yeah, I'm going to ask you to do this. The practice I'm going to ask you to play with is to try and figure out like what's the question that I haven't been asking myself.
Hmm.
Give like put yourself in that same place of like, okay, yeah, I want to double my thing. Well, what would it actually be like to be on the complete opposite side of this? How would like again, this goes to inevitable for me. I'm like, well, look, if you had 50 requests coming, you could just choose, like you could pick the 24 and the
Yeah.
one out of four, like the six international ones a year, that would be easy to come
Yeah.
through, right? And to be like, all right, cool. Like, hey, by the way, if you're not willing to pay this amount, or let me use my QR code on stage or whatever it is like this here,
Right.
that's fine because I have three other people this month that I can choose from. And I think that if we
Mhm.
get you to that place, then you no longer have to play their game. And that becomes a story
Yes.
that's really, really interesting to me. It feels really compelling to me.
Yeah. I love that word compelling. Yeah, it's the whole who who's controlling the conversation is the one who asks the questions typically
Hmm.
in a sales situation. So
Hmm.
instead of, oh, please hire me, it's
Hmm.
I'll let you know if I can fit you into my busy speaking schedule, which is
Yeah.
energetically different. And um, so I guess the question I haven't been asking myself is, what would it even feel like to be in that power of choice?
Hmm.
Because I haven't ever asked myself that.
All right. So before we go on, right, let's take that like because you're really good at moving it from a thinking element to what would it feel like. No, like, and I'm noticing that, right?
Ah,
And so like that's part of the language of John. Like let's get
hmm.
the felt
And
experience.
that's a new skill, by the way. I never used
Okay.
to do
Okay.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
like when you're leveling up, new skills are required, right?
Yes,
And
right.
so like
If
so
I'm saying everybody buys emotionally and backs it up with logic, I got to be toggling back and forth. Yeah.
this is why I love working in people's frameworks because it's
Mm,
like you already have that. Like you're like you right now are going through the emotional cell of like, am I willing to become the person who is like has a wait list, who's
yeah.
constantly
Right.
sold out, what would
Yeah.
that feel? What would it feel like to and like as much as it seems like really great on the positive side of things, there's a cost. There's a cost to it, right? It's like this world. You know what it's like to do the 10 to 12 a year. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
Like now we're asking you to step into a whole new echelon. And there may not be as many people in that. It's a rarefied air, you know?
Yeah. It's the tall poppy syndrome
Tell me
that
about that for you.
heard other people talk about. You have to be
Yeah.
willing to have people criticize you because you're the tall poppy.
Is that like I'm familiar with it. I hear a lot like people who are from Australia. They're like if you're the tall poppy, you get cut down, right?
Yeah.
Let me check in with you, John. Like, is that something that is actually like a thing for you? It is a thing, but is it a thing for
Yes. Every
you?
once in a while, um, because I've had to work on, self-esteem and I deserve this and,
Okay.
not having an imposter syndrome and all the
Okay.
things,
Yes.
because that used to be an issue. Like,
Okay.
oh my God, I didn't go to Harvard.
Yeah.
I went to a good school, but it wasn't Ivy League. My book
Yeah.
sold well, but it wasn't on the New York Times bestseller. When I was speaking with other more famous, successful speakers at a Coca-Cola event, I had all those triggers 10 years ago. I've healed a lot of that, but what is coming up for me is what would it feel like if I was willing to have a wait list? There is, oh, I'm like, oh, there's an imposter voice going, who do you think you are
Great.
to have a wait list? So
Nice.
that it came back a little bit. That's why I
Nice.
put it up.
Yeah, so let's stay with this here, right? So a lot of people go through uh, I have been trained by some really great coaches. One of them is Rich Litvin, and he has something around imposter syndrome that changed the whole game for me. So I like to
Mm,
invite it if you're good with it. All right.
yeah.
So what he said that changed was like it's like most people try and get rid of imposter syndrome, or they try and tell you how to like deal or cope with imposter
Hmm.
syndrome, right? Uh, but like it's like I don't see imposter syndrome as a negative. Actually, to me, like it tells me that like there's something that's worth going for. Right.
Hmm.
These are now I'm paraphrasing it in terms of how I've
Okay.
internalized it. So I'll come out of his frame and just tell you like how I've internalized over the years.
Yeah.
So for me, I look for imposter syndrome. I look for it for myself, but I also look for it when with the people I work with. And the reason for that is that you only feel like an imposter when you're stepping into a new level. Well, there's actually two
Ah,
things. There's two things. One of them is when you're the definition of imposter syndrome is coming along like being afraid of being found out as a fraud. That's the
right.
definition, right? And so one element is don't be fraudulent. And so that you see me like I'll do things real time. I don't edit
Yes.
like all that stuff there because I'm like, how can I be an imposter when like this is literally
Yes.
what I do?
Yeah.
Like you're seeing me here. So that's one place, John, as we do this here, and the imposter syndrome shows up here. Like the question for me that I want you to be thinking about, and maybe I'll slow down a little bit. But it's like, in what places were you defaulting to trying to pretend of something about yourself? What
Mm.
you thought about that, as opposed to like being good with like either where you are or what it would take to make that the reality. Let me ask that question first.
Well, I think it first came up when I had a sales career at Condé Nast.
Mm,
And I would feel like somebody was going to tap me on the shoulder and go, oh, I'm sorry, we made a mistake. You're not a good enough salesperson to be here. And then I was like, well, I better, be the best then and put all that pressure on myself just so that, and even when I won salesperson of the year, I was like, okay, that now how are you going to beat yourself the next year? So I realized like, oh, it can't be outside numbers giving me that sense of I'm enough and I'm good at what I do. It's got to come from within. Hence the whole self-esteem roller coaster
yep.
concept came from that place of, oh, I got to get off of this. And wouldn't it be great to have that as a mission to help other people get off of it?
Yep.
And then that really energized me to, oh, my mission is bigger than just helping salespeople sell more by
Yeah.
storytelling. My mission is helping them with their self-esteem roller coaster because when
Yeah.
that gets handled, then the numbers come because you're not begging for a sale, just like I'm not begging for a speaking thing. So I see what you're doing here to me. It's quite interesting and emotional at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's play with that. Um, I, you said emotion at the same time. Like it really hit me here,
Mm,
John. I was talking um, I wrote down, um, like the mission being like helping people get off the self-esteem roller coaster. And I think I know why it's hitting me.
mm,
One, it's beautiful, right? So there's that part that feels really good. Like it's not it's we have the lens of sales, we have all those things here, but it's really about the self-esteem. So like that hits me.
mm,
And I think the other part of it here is that, oh, well then like you know how to get off of the self-esteem roller coaster to your current level of success, but you haven't gotten on to like the newest ride that is now available. Da, da,
ah,
da. And what gets me is I'm like, oh, you're gonna continue to go on the self-esteem roller coaster,
mm,
right? And so it's not about like how do you get off it per se and stay off, but it's
I
like
see.
what's the next roller coaster that's
Mm,
worth going this thing on. And so like I think we're starting to tap into that a bit.
yeah,
And I think the
beautiful.
reason that it hits me, I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is gonna be a ride. Like the mastery of what you're trying to get done, if that's
Mm,
your mission, then it's like knowing the self-esteem roller coaster at every single level of height that it can be. Who am I
mm,
to run for president? Like that
yeah.
level of it all.
Hmm.
To be able to really pull up as many people as you want here. So like this is
Hmm.
taking a tangent, but I want to make sure that like
Yeah,
I see
no.
this in you.
That's beautiful. I like that it's not you get off one roller coaster, but there's always a bigger one that's got more dips and higher things to figure out. Oh, I'm going to go on that ride, even though I've mastered the other one, but there's always a bigger ride to go for.
Yeah.
And I see that with some people I work with when they get a big promotion, they're embarrassed to say they feel like a little bit of an imposter, or even that they're overwhelmed. I'm like, of course you're overwhelmed. Of course, you haven't done this before.
Yeah.
And if so, and so it never just really, like you said, the imposter syndrome never stops. You just go, oh, this was worth going for. I went for it. That's what that means. Not
Yeah.
don't tell anybody I'm having these fears.
That's it. I don't feel like an imposter taking out my trash. Right? Like it shows up when you're leveling up, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there are things about like you said, like just matter of fact, 10 to 12 like right now is like where I'm at right now, like we're
Mhm.
good, right? I'm sure that when you first got into your thing, into like speaking and all that stuff
Right.
there,
That
like
was like a big dream. Yeah.
yeah, right. And to say like if you were like trying to speak yourself into the world, and you're like, yeah, I do like every month I'm doing something like that might have felt impostery, you know?
Hmm.
And now it's just like it's taking out the trash. Like you know that you're gonna have
Yes.
that. You don't know which 10, which 12, like, but it's coming. Like it's
Hmm.
inevitable at this point, right? And so like John, I this is why I feel like my innards like cringing because I recognize that I'm setting you on a quest. The quest
Hmm.
here is like go feel like
Oh.
an imposter more often.
Whew. It's almost like you went in my head. And the reason that word quest has impacted me so much is I teach the four genres of storytelling, and the quest is one of them. So for you to not know that and reframe it so that I can see myself on a new quest is quite impactful. Whew. That's almost like a psychic ability. You could say the word quest to 100 people and that wouldn't mean anything to them, but it means something to me. I know exactly what my slide is. I know what the movie is. Yeah, all of it.
Taking time because I want you to process it. I want you to see it. Like I'm actually feeling like we're probably there right now for this particular conversation because
Yeah.
there's a couple different like threads that we've opened up here, but everything I'm feeling is an expansion. And with me like this, I'm the I see tears. I see this element as like energy being able to be moved through you. Something
Mm.
has become unblocked.
Hmm.
Something has moved here, right? And I don't need us to
Yeah.
be able to like tell us exactly what you no, that's
Yeah.
not it, right? This is like your nervous system is
Mm.
expanding right
Yeah.
here. And we're leveraging your frameworks.
Yeah.
Like I use the word quest, and like you said, for 100 people, it wouldn't have been anything. But for you, you're like, I see the slide, I know what it is. This is impact. This is your hero's journey,
Yes.
right? This is your hero's journey. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like the call's coming. You got to answer the
Uh,
call. You're going to refuse the call. Like I'm going through all
right.
these things here, right?
Yeah.
But like this is it. And like I love this because you know what to do with a quest.
Mm.
You know
Yeah.
what it takes. But then
Yeah.
off to the side. So now we can, if we frame this here with the things that you already know, then it's
Yeah.
just about like, do you have to go on this quest alone? Like, do you like what tools do you have, so on and so forth. Like,
Yeah.
but you know that. So I think it's a good time for us to like put a pause on this here, right? And to allow these things to continue to germinate, allow them to come in. What John, how do you feel about that as we as
That
we
feels great. That feels way more life-changing than I expected. I find it
yeah,
fascinating that you asked for permission for it. And I went, I didn't just surfacely answer it. I'm like, yeah. But where I was at the beginning of this interview to where I am now, could never have imagined that much emotion and being that vulnerable.
that's why I asked like because we have to walk through it together. And
Yeah.
I like and to the extent that I yeah, like on my side of things, um I come into here and I'm like, hey, it's like you down for a life changing conversation because I'm trying to set the stakes for
Yeah.
myself. I'm trying to make sure that I don't go because it would have been really easy to have like it would have been really
Yeah.
comfortable to have the have we thought about this mechanism, so on and so forth, right? I'm like,
Right.
but none of that is going to be life changing.
Well, you just did it again, by the way, because when I talk to people about making their stories compelling,
Yeah,
I say the stakes have to be high or we don't care
yeah,
about the story. So you
yeah,
just said stakes again. I'm like, he's
yeah.
just, whoa, he's channeling me without even realizing it. So that's what allows it to get out of me being intellectual about it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Like so the part of the reason why like John, I think here we're gonna wrap here is that like all I like my angle for this conversation is like I really want John to have a story that's worth telling. A story that is like
Mm,
super like one of my clients uses that like a story worth telling. It's some story that's irresistible. Like
yeah.
what do we just need to do to build that? You know? And
Yeah.
like let's draft that story and then go live it.
Yeah.
Simple, not necessarily easy, but simple. Like just go right
Mhm.
like what are we at? So, John, there's a lot of alignment here. We're gonna wrap this conversation and then I'll sign off with Outliers. We'll stay on to chat
Okay.
a bit afterwards. What would you say has been your biggest insight from today's conversation? And you can have more than one, but like,
No, I'm just laughing again because that's what I told you I did at the end of my talk in the workshop. What's your biggest takeaway?
yeah,
I think the biggest takeaway was when you asked me, what's the question I haven't asked myself?
mm,
And that got me out of my head of, oh, I haven't asked myself, in my case, I put it through a feeling, what it would feel like to have a waiting list. And that feels overwhelming and also emotional. And that I deserve that? And that to me was the opening question door that allowed all the other things to come up.
love it. All right, so we're gonna wrap here. You just said that, like it's funny you just said the word question, and I spent a lot of time with words and like talk about quests and questions.
Yeah.
I look at it.
Hmm.
If I take the word questions
Yeah.
and rearrange a few words, it says the quest is on. And so
Oh,
like
beautiful.
yeah, and so like so the power of the right, and you said like the person who's asking the question is the one who's leading the conversation. You're the one
Yeah.
that is setting the quest. Hey, this question is because the quest is on, you know?
Got it. Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. So we'll play with this here. John, I appreciate you. Stay on here. Let me wrap up here with Outliers. Outliers, until the next time we talk, be you on purpose. Journey on.
Hmm.